Shanti. The beautiful song reminded us of our Supreme Teacher and his teachings on this beautiful day, Teachers' Day. Now, I welcome Balabhai. Hello, Balabhai. It's very nice to see you, and the Saket family was missing you ever since your last visit, and we have been talking about the class you conducted last time very often. So I welcome you again, and it is beautiful that we will be talking about digital wellness today, and we are meeting through this digital medium, and we are making good use of it. So this is an example of digital wellness as well. So most of the family knows you already, but for some new souls who have become part of the family during the lockdown, I would give a brief introduction of you. So you are Vice President, Transformation, Sears Software, Hyderabad, and you have been practicing Raj Yoga meditation for the last 27 years. And since you are with the IT department and your Lokik and Alokik Seva are both connected to technology, so you're the best person to be telling us and educating us about digital wellness today. So welcome, and we look forward to a great session from you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister. Om Shanti. And Om Shanti to all the brothers and sisters from Baba's Saket Nagar Center. Wonderful. It's wonderful to once again connect with all of you. So before I begin, the session will go on up to 8:15 or 8:20. Is that right? Yeah? Okay. Good. So, Sister was mentioning about using technology or using the digital medium. So any gadget, any technology can be used, and if that use is not controlled, it becomes both misuse and abuse. So are you able to hear me clearly, Shilpa Ben?
Yes, voice is fine. Yes.
Okay, good. And while using this digital technology, if we want to limit it to usage and not get into the realm of misuse, disuse, or abuse, what is it that we should be aware of? Unfortunately, there is very, very little awareness about the physical health, mental health, and relationship health impact of these digital technologies, especially mobile usage. Many of you I see are also parents. You must also be having kids. So if you have them around you and if they are interested, you can ask them to join the session. And it's very, very important that we understand the science behind these digital usage and how we should control this usage, because if we don't do that, they will start controlling us. So let me share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. You're able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? Hello? Shilpa Ben, can
Yes,
you?
Balabhai, the screen is
So,
visible.
so
Yes.
you're able to see my slide
Yes.
deck also?
Yes. I'm able to see the slide deck.
Okay, wonderful. So today as we move forward, as we discuss the techniques to enhance our digital well-being, I would encourage you to also start asking this question, start reflecting on this question, and progressively we will understand it. Who is the master, you or your mobile? I don't want any answers now. Just hold that question as we move forward. So what is digital wellness? What are we going to discuss today over the next 60 to 75 minutes? So there are these 6 elements: the importance of attention, why this digital overusage can become toxic, what is the impact of food and exercise and sleep, and how do we harness the power of meditation in this digital age. So all these 6 elements together, I call them as digital wellness. So first question, what is the most important capability we all have? Go ahead, unmute and answer.
So we could all write down our answers in our chat boxes. That would be better.
Yeah, go ahead. Whichever works for you. Okay. Ability to think. What else? Very good. Focus. Ability to learn. Think and speak. Imagine. Creativity. Controlling power. Very good. Consciousness. Adapt. Ability to control. Creativity. Very good. Wisdom. So the most important capability that is required for all these that you mentioned is attention. My ability to control my mind and focus. Let's do a small exercise. Can you look around where you're sitting and then share what is it that is white around you? What is it that you are seeing that is white around you? Screen of laptop, screen, wall. Yeah, go ahead. What else? What else is this white? Cream color is also white. That's also fine. So go ahead. Table, tube light. Very good. Bed sheet, door, chair, aurora, whatever that means. Your dress. Very good. What about my dress? Wonderful. Okay. Good. Now stop. Now, can you look around the same room and tell me what you see is red? Whatever is red around you. Vase, curtain, good. Shiv Baba picture, yes. Pen stand, medicine, pillow cover, toy, cushion, Baba's light, yes. Bag, Rajai, red dot on record, very good. Charger wire, okay. Cushion, Lego toys, painting, good. Okay, now stop. Now, when you were looking for light, when you were looking for white, were there no other colors? Yes or no? And when you started looking for red, was there no white? What were you doing? When you were looking for red, whenever you saw something white, what did you do? What did you do? Apart from focusing, what did you do? Very good. You rejected, ignored whatever you see was white. Very important. So my ability to ignore what is irrelevant, what is not relevant to the task at hand, comes with my attention. And whatever you put your attention on becomes your experience. When you were looking for red in the second case, even though there were many other colors, including white, which you just saw a few seconds before, it is as if it did not exist because you were focused more on looking for red. So even if you were seeing white, it did not become your experience. That's why we say brain is a fantastic filter and attention is its gate. So whatever you are experiencing is the result of your focus and attention. Listen to the sound of the fan or the AC or feel the warmth of the cushion. You must be sitting there for the last 10 or 15 minutes. But as soon as I tell you, now you started feeling it. It was there, but you were not feeling it as much. You were not paying attention. But as soon as you paid attention, the sensory signal corresponding to the touch of your cushion or the chair on which you are seated or of the sound of the fan, that started getting processed by your brain. That's why brain is a fantastic filter and attention is its gate. That's why it said, wherever my attention goes, energy flows. And wherever energy flows, life grows, whether it is positive or negative. Very important. Moment by moment, I am creating my experience. I am creating my life depending on what I choose to focus. That's why in every single day, Murli Baba says, pay attention. Attention, please. When attention is such an important power, who or what is impacting our attention? Now see the number of things that are chopping our attention, which are pulling our attention. Check yourself how many notifications you have received in the last 10 minutes and how many more you will be receiving and how many times you will get distracted. You see the number of things: WhatsApp, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, email, so many things that are happening around us that are disturbing or chopping off our attention. Now, why is this important? If you open too many apps on your mobile, what happens to your mobile? If you keep switching between one app to the other and open too many apps, what happens to your mobile's performance? What happens? Very good. It hangs. Absolutely. It becomes really slow. All of us experienced it. It's exactly the same for our brain. Whenever I switch between two tasks, brain takes some time for me to stop thinking about my previous task and start thinking about my next task. That is what we call a switching penalty. Even in your mobile, if you open too many apps, if you switch between one app to the other, it will become slow. Similarly, inside your brain, if you are trying to chop your attention off and switch between multiple tasks, all your energy, all your focus is wasted in helping the brain switch between the task rather than execute that task. Because you opened so many apps, when you try to switch between those apps, see, your mobile will hang because all the space and all the power is used to do the switching rather than executing that app. Same thing happens to our brain. Most of our energy is getting wasted in this switching penalty because each time we distract ourselves, we are paying this switching penalty. And why is this problematic? Let me give you a more simple example. All of you must be using cooker and gas stove. Now you put some rice, you put some water, put the cooker on the gas stove. Each time you receive notification, switch off the flame. And then once you attend to your notification, come back and switch on the flame. What happens to your cooking? Will it cook faster or slower? Will the food cook at all? If I keep switching off my flame, I switch off the flame, after a few seconds or tens of seconds, I switch it on again. Again, I switch it off after a minute, again, I switch it off. what will happen to the food? Will it cook? Or not only will it become slow, yes, you will be hungry, that's for sure, but what will happen to the food? It will even get spoiled. It won't get cooked. It won't get cooked properly. That's exactly the thing that is happening to what we are doing to day work. Our efficiency, our effectiveness, and our productivity is getting sacrificed, is getting reduced because our attention is like that flame. Each time you distract yourself, you are switching off that flame from helping you complete the task. And each time you are focusing on your WhatsApp message, each time you are getting distracted, understand that you are giving a slice of your life that is never going to return. So ask yourself, when was the last time you received a life transforming message on WhatsApp where you can clearly say you had two kinds of living, one before receiving that message, one after receiving that message? If any one of you has received that kind of a life transforming WhatsApp message, do share with us. For many of you, you must have to think. That is the amount of energy and attention we are simply wasting away. Now, why is this continuous distraction or checking of the mobile important? It is because of this most important property of the brain called neuroplasticity. Neuro refers to the neurons to the brain, and plasticity refers to the ability of the brain to change itself. It comes from the Greek word plastikos, that means to mold, to change. So anytime you learn something new, watch these. These are the neurons. Okay, this is a snapshot of the brain. When I learn something new, what happened to the brain? You are seeing lot more connections, lot more networks. So whenever I repeat something continuously, whenever I learn a skill, that information is transferred inside my brain in the form of a bunch of neural circuits. And this is where the information gets stored. Initially, anything new that we are learning becomes a little slow because these circuits are getting formed. Once these circuits form, it becomes easy for us. So the ability of the brain to change its structure in response to our actions is what we call as neuroplasticity. This is how we learn a skill. This is how we learn our habits. And this is the property through which we also become addicted. Because the more you repeat a particular action, the stronger the neural circuit corresponding to that action becomes. But unfortunately, once the neural circuit becomes stronger than a threshold point, you lose your control and the neural circuit takes over the control. That is when we say you got addicted. That is when you see smokers, they would want to stop, but the urge is so strong that the neural circuit simply gets fired. And once the neural circuit of smoking gets fired for the smoker, he can't hold himself. They will simply go out, switch on the cigar, complete it, and then only relax. That is when we say you are addicted. That's happening because of neuroplasticity. Now let's see a few examples. If you are used to using your mobile so much, I asked you in the beginning to keep reflecting on this question, who is the master, you or your mobile? This is a challenge to all of you. And today I'm going to ask you to commit a lot of digital blasphemy. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to ask you is, tonight before you sleep, or even during this conversation for the next 60 minutes, can you keep your mobile in silence with screen down? And if you are using your mobile to watch this, even then you can keep your mobile in silence mode. And for those of you connecting from the computer, put your mobile in silence and put its screen down and check yourself how many times your mobile is going to pull your attention. Because if you keep distracting yourself, if you keep disturbing yourself, very soon you will get addicted. And already all of us, because of our digital consumption, we are not only digitally overweight, many of us have even become digitally obese. Neuroplasticity is very, very strong or very, very powerful when we are young. Until the age of 9 or 10, especially from the age of 1.5 year till 6 years, this neuroplasticity is very, very strong, very, very powerful. That is why you have seen kids, and some of you also, when you were kids and you lived in a multicultural background neighborhood where people from different parts of India lived, you pick up multiple languages, multiple skills just like that. And all our prodigies that we hear about, especially the musical prodigies, they started their sadhana when they were 2 years or 3 years old, when the neuroplasticity is at its highest. But this also poses, that means because neuroplasticity is powerful, you can pick up things very fast. And that also has the downside. Today, when I see young kids, 2 year olds, 3 year olds playing with their mobiles and their parents giving that mobile to their kids and then feeling that, my kid can surf on YouTube. If my kid can't play game, he's just 2 years old, I can't feed him anything. So you give the mobile to them and then you feed food and then you just stuff the food inside their mouth. Please, please, please don't do that. Because because of this neuroplasticity, it does not take much time for the kids to get addicted. I have seen with my own eyes in our neighborhood 3-year-old kids who got so addicted that they cannot eat without this and they cannot play with the kids outside because they lost that art. You can give any number of reasons. You can say lockdown, you can say this, you can say that, but the choice is yours. PUBG addiction lands teen in hospital with brain clots. Thankfully, the government has banned it now. This is a 19-year-old kid from the city where I live, Hyderabad. He was going to college, coming back, and then playing late night until 2 a.m., 3 a.m., sleeping, playing the game for 6 hours, 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., sleeping for 2 or 3 hours, and then going to college. And he continued this. Within 3 months, he got brain clots, unheard of, because he was not sleeping well, he was not eating well, and he was continuously playing. And he immediately suffered from blood clots. 3-year-old kid addicted to mobile. His mother takes him to counseling because she saw that he was able to go to the bathroom, but still he was not going to the bathroom because he got hooked to the mobile. He would do that bathroom on the bed itself. When the mother realized, she snatched away the phone and she took the kid to the hospital. Just 3-year-old kid. And son kills father for not allowing him to play PUBG in Karnataka because the kid is not in control of their own brain, their own mind. They lost control. Now, when you snatch the mobile away from the kid, some of you may already have experienced this with your kid and not able to see he crying and he turning violent, you simply give the mobile phone without recognizing that these are mobile withdrawal symptoms. Until today, we talked only about drug withdrawal symptoms. But now you saw, because of this property of the brain, which all of us have, if you use it positively, you become powerful. But if you use it negatively, we become a puppet in the hands of our own addiction or habit. And how does this mobile usage or the social media usage impact our other areas of life, especially our mental health? So you see the picture. That is what we called as friends in 90s, but today friends means this. There's a very clear relationship between social media usage and mental health. The more time you spend on Facebook, the more lonely you will feel and higher the probability of becoming depressed. And because of lot of time spending on online and on social media, the attention span of the kids is reducing big time. And it is also increasing anxiety and hyperactivity. This increased mobile usage is also linked with higher rates of depression and suicide among teenagers, especially usage of social media. And because the kids see only the happy faces of their other friends, and they never see unhappy faces of their friends on Facebook or Instagram or any other place. They start thinking that they are the only kids who are unfortunate ones who are facing all this sorrow. The rest of the world is happy. So this is a double whammy. One, they are unhappy because something happened. They are even more unhappy. This is the secondary sorrow, thinking that they are the only ones who are unhappy because all other friends are very happy, because that is what their friends are posting. That is what leads to lower self-esteem. Check yourself. When you saw any of your neighbors or friends posting their new watch or new car on Facebook, how many times did you feel, kash agar mere paas bhi ye hota? This usage automatically increases that comparison, and especially for kids and youngsters, it is even lowering their self-esteem. There is a clear relationship between social media usage or the mobile usage and mental health issues. It is proven now. And physical health, like tennis elbow, we have cell phone elbow, cell phone wrist, where because of holding the mobile for a long time, you also suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome, restless thumb syndrome. Okay, I have one of my managers, her threshold is 6 minutes. Within 6 minutes, if she doesn't touch, at the end of 6th minute, if she doesn't touch the screen of her mobile, her finger, her thumb starts shaking. I've seen this. Even in the middle of a meeting, she slyly opens up her bag, pulls out the iPhone. She knows that she didn't get any message, but she has to touch the screen. Only then the thumb will stop. The thumb will relax. Otherwise, thumb will start becoming restless. That is restless thumb syndrome. Low back pain, impaired memory, text claw and text neck, because we think that we can text fast or your kid can text fast. That's creating a lot of physical health issues. This is just a glimpse. Now, some of the ways to unplug, detoxify. So these are many digital blasphemy actions that I'm going to ask you to commit. If you are really interested in your health and in your family's well-being and in your kids' well-being, follow these. First and foremost, switch off all your notifications. You don't need any of them. The only notification which you might need is of that app which your office folks use to communicate with each other. And if you say you use WhatsApp, then you buy a separate SIM which you are going to share with your office folks so that nobody else knows and nobody else sends all sorts of junk. So where there is a will, there is a way. None of us need any notifications. Just for 1 week or 1 day, switch off all the notifications and see how much peaceful you will feel or how much peaceless you will feel, because so many times your mobile will keep pulling your attention. So the first thing, switch off your notifications. Do not touch your mobile at least for 1 hour after you wake up and for 1 hour before you sleep. This is a challenge. Another act of digital blasphemy I'm asking you to commit. Ask yourself, who is the boss? You or your mobile? You're not going to touch your mobile. I know for many of us or all of us, the first thing that you do is look at your mobile, and the last thing that you see is your mobile. Don't do that. We are Baba's children. We should not touch the mobile at least for 1.5 hours after we wake up. I would say before 8 a.m. you should not touch your mobile, and after 8 p.m. you should avoid looking at your mobile. Try that. And when you are having breakfast, lunch and dinner, have screen-free breakfast, lunch and dinner. Look at each other, spend some time with your family members, and remove all sorts of radiation from your bedroom because it's going to impact your sleep. In a minute, I'm going to share with you lack of sleep, how it impacts or how it is impacting the health of all of us, whether young or old. Do not put your mobile on your dining table. When was the last time you disinfected your mobile? How often do you disinfect your mobile? And you put your mobile on all sorts of places, in the bathroom, in the kitchen table, on your dining table, on your desk, on your book, on your bedroom, bed, pillow, everywhere. And you never try to disinfect it. And you touch your mobile with the same hand and you touch your food with the same hand after touching the mobile. Yuck. So Do not put your mobile on your dining table, and each time you touch your mobile, wash your hands. This is for your own physical health. Once a week, do mobile fasting, and fasting has anti-cancer properties. It's good for your health. 24 hours of fasting, just don't touch your mobile. Spend a few minutes every day in nature. This is what doctors are calling it as green therapy. I know this is lockdown, but if there is a possibility of you stepping out of your home in a safe way, and if you can't, at least spend 15 to 20 minutes in sunlight. Very, very important. You can sit in the balcony, you sit on the terrace, you sit close to the window or door, wherever, but spend at least 20 to 25 minutes in sunlight, because even though in India we have abundant sun, lots and lots of people are suffering from vitamin D deficiency. Unfortunate, because we lock ourselves in dark rooms and we have stopped spending time in the sun. Don't do that. Correct yourself. So these are some very simple ways in which you can unplug or detoxify. Good. Any questions before I proceed further? And if you are capable, अगर आप अपने आप को इतना बहादुर समझते हो, तो रोज सो जाने के 1 घंटे पहले आपके मोबाइल को स्विच ऑफ कर दो. And don't worry, none of us is so important. Nobody will miss us. Okay, nobody will miss us. I have been using my mobile for 12 years, and every single day in these 12 years, I switch off my mobile. And I switch it on only after 8 a.m. And I did not miss a single call or a single important meeting. So we are already with our loved ones. They are not going to miss us. Switch off your mobile at night, at least an hour before you sleep, and then switch it on only after 8 a.m. Inform all your friends. Help them. Now, this is another problem. We don't seem to be doing enough exercise. Okay. Now, you can pick up whatever exercise that you want, and you can say there is not much place. I can't go to garden. I can't run. Don't worry. Research shows even if you start doing weight training and yoga asanas, that weight training also, that is lifting weights, and whether it is push-ups or any strength training, is as much beneficial as much as walking or running. So any kind of physical exercise, try to take time and then do at least for 30 to 40 minutes a day. Very important. When you do this, it promotes brain health, increases rate of learning, reduces anxiety and stress, reduces risk of heart attack, diabetes, colon cancer, and a whole host of other diseases. It builds bones, muscles, and joints, improves immune system, and exercise has been found to help brain release endorphins, which are our most effective happiness boosters. So this is about the second element. So we saw about attention, we saw about the digital detox, we saw about exercise. Now, so this is the website. You might want to make a note, exercisesmedicine.org, for you to learn the science behind the benefits of exercise and what does research say. And you can also pick up some of these exercises from here. So for us, in simple terms, sit less, move more. This is the principle. What's the principle? Sit less, move more. Now, the fourth point that we're going to discuss about is food. This is from Chandogya Upanishad. Annamayam hi saumya manaha. That means whatever you eat, that is what becomes a part of your thinking. That's what becomes a part of your mind. So food is something that is prepared in a kitchen. Food is not something that is manufactured in a factory by a chemist. Remember this. So whatever you eat in terms of your packaged food, it is actually not considered food in the original definition of food. Whatever manufactured stuff that you eat, all the fast food stuff, it has been very clearly shown through the latest research that fast food or the Western diet is proportional to increase in mental health issues. The more junk food you consume, the higher is the probability of you suffering from anxiety and depression. It's a proven fact now. And another simple way that we can stay away from is don't eat anything that your grandmother does not recognize. When you say kurkure and lace and all this, and she says, what is it? It's a clear signal. Perk, chick chick, chuck chuck, whatever the names that we have. If your grandmother doesn't recognize, it means that's not food. We should not be eating it. As simple as that. Okay. So junk food or processed food, too much of it, it leads to, it leads to obesity, diabetes, and depression, and a whole host of physical and mental health issues. And that's what results in early death. Traditional food that gives body energy, vitality, and it also reduces your aging, and you get long, healthy life. That's the very simple relationship, in simple terms, the relationship between what we eat and the kind of life that we lead. Too much of oil, too much of spices, too much of deep fry stuff, too much of sugar, too much of masalas, all are bad for health because they are considered tamopradhan. Tamopradhan means that food which makes you more lazy, that food which does not become energy within 4 hours of eating it, and that food whose metabolic waste does not leave the body within 24 hours. That is the reason why, even from the food perspective, without going into the ethical stuff, eating non-vegetarian is not good for your health. And this is the latest branch which came up in the last 10 years, even though Ayurveda has been talking about for thousands of years, that what you eat is who you are or what you think. As we saw in the beginning of this session from the Chandogya Upanishad, Annamayam Saumya Manaha. Now Western medicine is also waking up. They started a new branch of psychiatry called nutritional psychiatry. What this explores, what this branch of psychiatry explores is what is the impact of various kinds of foods on your mental health. So the next principle with respect to food, I'm not going to spend a lot of time because each one is a big subject. So I'm just giving you a glimpse. So the next principle is eat right, eat less, live long. Yes, eat less is right. The more we eat, the faster we age. The less we eat, the slower we age. Remember that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the sleep in this digital age. And most of us are sleep deprived. And the worst part about sleep is we don't even know that we are operating at our less than most efficient level because our ego hurts to agree. That's why only in very few days you feel very fresh, but most of the days we just get along through the day, even though we are feeling sleepy or sluggish because we are not getting enough sleep. So why is sleep essential? Because sleep impacts every single area of our health. All these cardiovascular, metabolic, immune, and reproductive systems are impacted by sleep. Let me give you a little more insight. If you don't sleep properly, if you are more than 45 years of age and you sleep less than 6 hours a night, it's 200% more likely that you're going to get heart attack or stroke. Reason? Calcification of coronary arteries. Sleep deprivation increases insulin resistance and thus increases sugar levels in the blood, which result in diabetes and obesity. Very interesting. For those of you who are interested in dieting, you do dieting so that you can burn the fat. But if you don't sleep properly, research shows instead of burning the fat inside your body, due to lack of sleep, your body confuses itself and it starts burning the muscle mass. That is, you will not become thin, but you will become weak. Remember that. So dieting without proper sleep burns muscle mass and not fat. Sleep restores immune system activity. Very important. That's why when we sleep system and the immune system, they work very, very closely. That's why when our immune system is low, when we are attacked by virus, when we are having fever, anything that we get seasonally, we don't feel like getting up, we feel like taking rest, because immune system activates the sleep system. Similarly, sleep restores the immune system activity. So they both are so closely related. So if you don't sleep properly, then your ability to combat diseases also gets impacted. Alzheimer's means when you start getting clots inside the brain. That is what we call as beta amyloid plaque. And research clearly shows those elders who sleep properly, they don't, they are not susceptible to Alzheimer's. And those elders who don't sleep properly, the beta amyloid plaque gets accumulated inside the brain. Beta amyloid plaque is the metabolic waste that the brain generates every day. The metabolic waste the body generates every day, we let it go when we empty our bowels in the morning or through passing urine or the sweat. But brain's metabolic waste does not go through the regular channels. Brain's metabolic waste is cleaned up by a separate plumbing system inside the brain that gets activated only when we are deeply asleep. That is what we call as NREM sleep, non-rapid eye movement sleep. So if we don't sleep properly, that system doesn't get activated and the waste doesn't get removed. And that is what starts accumulating. And that's one of the reasons for us to suffer from Alzheimer's. So good night's sleep cleans the beta amyloid plaque. Simple numbers, they can vary a little bit, but on an average, this is what it is. Assuming that most of the audience are young adults or adults, so you will need anywhere between 7 to 9 hours. And for some of us, 6 is good. And some might take about 10 hours. But anything beyond that is of not much use. But anything less than this is also not good. So this is the optimal amount of sleep. So light and impact on sleep, because at night, many of us might have this habit of getting under our pillow or our blanket and then switching on the mobile. Very bad, because the blue light that the screen emanates tricks the brain from releasing melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that brain secretes as the ambient temperature in the evening starts becoming darker. Because melatonin signals the various parts of the body saying it's nighttime, relax, slow down. That is when the body system starts slowing down and then we go to sleep. And if we continuously stare at screen, whether it is television or your iPads or whatever pads and mobile, the blue light that comes from that bright screen, it tricks the melatonin secretion. And that is why if we continuously use mobile at night, our ability to fall asleep faster gets impacted and we sleep less. And you already saw what sleep loss impact is. And it can lead to depression. In worst case, it can even lead to cancer. So for all those of you who are using latest mobiles, switch on the night shift mode. Right from 6 p.m. in the evening till 8 a.m. in the morning, switch on that mode where the mobile as well as your computer or the screen gets covered with orangish tinge, reddish color, where there is no blue, because that blue wavelength is what tricks the brain. So tips to sleep well: do not use mobile phone at least for an hour before you sleep. Very important. At least for an hour. Read a book. Don't stare at a screen. And try to read the most boring book so that you can fall asleep easier. Now, this is another challenge for you. Do not exercise too late in the evening. I see in many of these, pre-COVID times, many of them exercising at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., ridiculous. Do not exercise at least 3 hours before you sleep. And you should not exercise at least for 2 hours before you have your dinner. Avoid large meals and beverages late at night, because you are going to send your body into overdrive. And this is some stupid practice that started. And if most of you are practicing Raj Yoga anyway, you won't eat all sorts of junk stuff. But even if you're not practicing and you're enthusiastic, just you have come to know about it, please understand, eating too late in the night and having the stupid things like midnight biryani is definitely a no-no. Relax before bed. Do not overstimulate your brain. Especially during lockdown time, don't watch horror movies, thrillers, that which will stimulate your brain and excite you, because a stimulated brain cannot fall asleep. Have good sleep environment, no clutter, switch off all the lights, use eye blinds, make it completely dark. As I said before, remove all sorts of radiation. And most important, if you want to have good night's sleep during the daytime, you must have good sunlight exposure during the day. That means you must spend time in the natural light, because that is when the brain can understand the contrast and you will be able to fall asleep easier. Even if you don't have good sunlight exposure during the day, you won't be able, your quality of sleep or the quantity of sleep will not be good. And of course, meditate for a few minutes before you sleep. Very, very important, because that allows you to relax and it will allow you to get into deep sleep. So, what is the key to digital wellness? The key is I must learn to control my mind. I must remind myself that I am the boss, not my mobile, not my iPad, not my internet. And this is where spending a few minutes to reconnect with the self and to remind myself about my own self sovereignty, that I am the boss. I am the creator of my life. I can control things. I am not a slave of gadgets. This Swaman, this self respect, this reminding of our own nature, our own masterly nature, that I am the boss, helps us to overcome these addictions. And meditation helps you to think less, think slow, and think better. Very simple. It helps you to think less, helps you to think slow, helps you to think better. What next? If you are sufficiently motivated or agitated and you are interested, then please visit this website. You can download the extended version of this presentation I gave you. You can go to this bkitving.org. Let me show you the page. You can download the presentation about sleep. It's called bkitving.org slash digital wellness, and you can become our digital wellness ambassador. So that's the page. Okay. And so this is the talk that I'm just currently giving you. You can download the slide deck. The complete slide deck is available. There is another 90-minute talk going into a lot more detail about the sleep in digital age. You can download that slide deck and you can check your mobile addiction. Don't be surprised or shocked. Don't say you are not addicted. You will know that by doing this test. And I've placed some articles also here, and the videos, 3 documentaries that I showed you, 2 minutes ones, they are here, and many more are there here, which you can watch. Now, this is the positive impact of neuroplasticity. This girl, when she was 3 years aged, from then on, she was having epileptic seizures. So her half the brain had to be removed. And even with just half the brain, with proper exercise and practice, she now leads a normal life, because only one half of the brain started expanding and it started taking over the actions of the other part of the brain, which was removed thanks to neuroplasticity. So these are the positive impacts of neuroplasticity. And if you're interested, you can also go through the books. And these are our digital wellness ambassadors. So you can also become a digital wellness ambassador. You can download the slide deck, you can understand, watch the video, and then start sharing this with your family members in schools, colleges, offices, colleagues, whomever you want to. And then do send us a photograph. We are going to put that here, and give us a short write-up so that we can inspire and encourage many others. And if any one of you listening to this presentation have started incorporating some of these suggestions, and after a week or two you would like to share your experience, you can come here and then share your experience, which we will paste it on this website. So I'm sharing it on the chat. You can copy this. Okay. So that's the website by bkitving.org/digital wellness. And the essence, spend more quality time with yourself for yourself because you deserve your own love and attention. Spend more quality time with your family for your family, more quality time with your friends for your friends, and all these without your mobile. So remember the simple principle from now on, mobile मेरा है, मैं mobile का नहीं. I control the mobile. It's not the other way around. So that's what we discussed today about the various aspects of digital wellness. Wonderful. So that's all I have for tonight. And if we have time, I can take a few questions. Good. Thank you very much.
So anybody has any questions, you could just write in the chat box and Balabhai would answer that for you. So
Somebody asked, should we use Kindle? Again, anything that is within the limit is good.
So I think there are no questions and everybody is.
Somebody is talking about tracking the news regularly. So, sister, you ask yourself how regular. Every single minute you don't have to check it because things are not going to change by minute. If you check it 4 or 5 times a day, that's more than enough. So it's a question we need to ask ourselves to evaluate our own actions. And we should not try to I'm going to be brutally honest, and honesty is seldom sweet, so please don't mind. Many a times we try to rationalize our weakness. Don't get into rationalization mode, get into reflective mode. Children are supposed to study online. Try to limit the amount of time they are going to study. You spend time with them by giving them books, so that if they attend for 1 hour class, speak with their teacher. They can skip that 1 hour class. So make them attend only 3 hours of class per day, not more. So that the rest of the time, teach them from the books. Heavens are not going to fall apart. There is nothing earth shattering that they are going to learn. If you saw the website, there is a book called Screen Schooled. It's written by 2 American teachers who have been teaching kids using these screens for the last 12 years. And they clearly showed through their experience and data collection that kids who learn through screens they do not have any extra IQ. And they develop more of anxiety and their attention span reduces a lot more. So there is no extra benefit of using screens compared with using books. So please remember that. I can put mobile in airplane mode before sleep and after wake up. Yes, you can keep it in airplane mode. That's best because there will not be any calls and there is no radiation. Workload on parents have increased. How to manage work and home and kids? I am very sorry, Reena Ben. That is something that you have to sit, discuss with your spouse, with your kids, and come up with a plan. Because whatever I suggest without knowing your details will not be suitable. But the only thing I can tell you is we must learn to reduce the mobile usage. We must learn to spend time with each other. How to control older ones? I don't have an answer. At least I have been able to successfully tell my mother, aunt, and my dad doesn't use any mobile, so that's a good thing. And my mother, I just gave her a mobile because she wanted to listen to the Murli. That's why I have been telling her, I've been warning her, so I don't allow her to use the mobile for more than an hour or hour and a half.
Balaban, there is this
रात को
question.
कितने बजे सोने चाहिए? कम से कम you test yourself. How many hours is more comfortable for you? But at least you need to have 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep before Amrit Vela. So that means, das to karo bas. That is the principle we use in BKs. Now you work backwards.
Balabai, there is this question.
Playing video
also,
games, please do not get addicted. Teach them something else, because slowly that addiction will increase. 1 hour is a lot of time. Yes, sister.
By the way, there are two questions which probably have been missed. One is how can we disinfect the mobile? And then,
Yeah. Disinfecting the mobile, you use the same disinfecting solution. Switch it off. Put the disinfecting solution. If it has a cover, remove the cover. Clean it up regularly. Okay. That's the simplest method. There's nothing else. The way you disinfect any other hard stuff that you are buying in these times, do the same thing even for mobile.
Thank you. And there's another question. What is the reason for these addictions?
The reason, as I said, if you heard correctly, is this neuroplasticity. That particular activity you repeated so many times, it's become like a neural highway. And now you lose control. There is little trigger, and then the highway gets triggered and you lose control over yourself. In the same page that I shared, the digital wellness page, there is a documentary called The Brain That Changes Itself. Please watch that. You will understand the details behind the neuroscience behind addiction. Yes, as Rita Ban says, switching off is the best method. And about my next session, sister, usually nowadays I'm not doing much because I don't like getting onto online and spending so much time, because this also becomes another Maya. You can follow up on bkitving.org, and those of you who are interested in watching some more of my sessions, please visit my website, where there are many more classes that are recorded which might help you. Yes, how do you tell your parents? You must make them watch this and tell them that if they are interested in, I'm very sorry, again, I'm brutally honest. If they want to go mad, if they want to lose their brain health, if they want to die very painfully, not easily, then they can continue to use mobile. There is no other language we can use with elders. I'm sorry about that. And that is reality.
So I think Balabai has taken his time out and answered all the questions. So thank you very much for the wonderful session. This session was informative, inspiring, and exhaustive because it covered every detail that we needed to know, and also the causes and the solutions. So thank you, Balabai, for such an extensive and exhaustive cover on the subject. And you took out time to answer all the questions in details, which was very nice and sweet of you. We are blessed to have you today with us, and I hope this session will translate into change in behavior, because when we come to know something, we feel great about it, but sometimes we limit it to that and don't put it into action. So there are action points, there are information points that need to be kept in the head, and then there are action points which need to be executed. So I would request everybody here to, yes.
One very important point, some sister is asking about mobile usage and development of language by the kids. It's a myth. You speak, allow them to speak. Human speech is far more powerful than the artificial speech that they get from the mobiles. All of us, sister, we grew up without mobiles. Please remember that. You grew up and you gave, if you're a mother, you gave birth to a kid and there were no mobiles. Your mother gave birth to you, and your mother's mother gave birth to her, and they all grew up without mobiles. So we don't need any of these extra gadgets. If I have understood your question correctly.
Thank you very much. So Balabai, we hope to see you soon again. And thank you so much for taking out time and sharing with us this know-how and this information and all these exercises which will lead to digital wellness. Thank you so much. So
Thank
we
you.
will
Om
bid
Shanti.
him adieu with a single wave of a single hand. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you.